Also, on top of that, I wanted to tell you what my biggest breakthrough was when it came to paying off debt and living a debt-free life. Hey, real quick, I'm gonna hit my intro and we're gonna get started. Hey guys, what's up? Hey, my name is Rick. I am a Dave Ramsey preferred financial coach. I am pro living debt free. I'm a big believer in personal finance needs to be taught in school. I'm a big believer that we need to focus on being financially fit just as much as we do mentally fit and physically fit. So a lot of people, they grow up thinking that, hey, I was taught all this budgeting stuff. This is not a big deal to me. However, statistics show that most people don't grow up knowing how to be financially fit. As a matter of fact, I share this statistic all the time, and this is why I am a financial coach, because so many people struggle with this. And that is almost 8 out of 10 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That sounds incredibly stressful to me. I've been under the weight of a bunch of payments and debt, and it was not fun. I've owed money to family, and it was not fun. I've lost a lot of sleep. I've lost a lot of weight. Boy, it was tough. So in this video, I kind of wanted to share with you guys what was it for me that was like, oh, light bulb, I need to live debt free. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about our story. After my wife and I, so we got married in college. After we got married in college, we decided that we were going to go to Midland, Texas, in the oil field, and we were going to work because we just knew they were hiring, and we had no idea what we were going to do. I started working for a corporate job. Realized pretty soon into that I did not like working a desk job, and I wanted to do my own thing. So we sold everything that we had, and we bought into a franchise. We did get to pay cash for that, so that made sense. However, we needed to borrow a lot of money to get equipment and to get a commercial lease in place. Well, I promise you, I did so much planning for this thing. I was at the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center. I had to think through the acronym, but what that is they basically will help you start a business and make sure that it's something that's going to be profitable for you. And this was going to be profitable. It was a tea franchise. It was a lot like a Starbucks, but instead of coffee and lattes and stuff like that, it was all focused on loose leaf tea and gourmet tea drinks. So as you can imagine, the profit margins were going to be good. It does well in areas that have a high income. So we bought the rights to Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And so what we did was, while we were moving from Midland to Colorado, we were in our hometown, which is a small town in New Mexico. And we were hanging out there for about a year while we were getting everything in place. And again, we were doing our due diligence. We were doing everything we could just to take care of our business. And we were getting ready to go up there. I had the bright idea of borrowing money from family to buy equipment for this franchise. And then we were all ready to sign this commercial lease. My attorney said, no, this is a bad lease. The franchise said, no, this is a good lease. We're used to this. So I was not very wise, and I signed the very last page of that contract, which was, I personally guarantee that this contract will get fulfilled. So now my business and my personal wallet were all attached. Very bad idea. Did not know that at the time. Took a really big L there. That's okay, I'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, we had everything signed. Right after we had everything signed, we were getting ready to move up to Colorado to start this lease. As soon as that happened, we got signed up for a reality TV show called The Profit. Some of you might be familiar with it, some of you might not. It comes on after Shark Tank. And it's a show that comes in and fixes failing businesses. The business wasn't failing, it was just really good publicity. Even if it's bad publicity, it's good publicity. You can even see me and my wife in the background of one of the episodes, believe it or not. Anyways, that threw a wrench into everything. That was the moment where I learned, in this life, you cannot control everything like I thought I could. I had to put everything on pause. Not only that, during the middle of this, the son and father of this company ended up having a huge falling out, which only fractured everything else. We couldn't build a franchise because they were going to change the whole brand of everything. So we didn't want to build the old brand and then have the new brand come in and have to change all of it in 3 months after we opened, because it would cost us like $60,000 or $70,000 to do that. So that was just a huge bummer. Here we were. I was working at I was working as a seafood manager, which makes no sense, but it was the only management position I could find at a Safeway, and my wife was working as a basically front desk at a dental office, and we both hated our jobs. I mean, hated our jobs. Shout out grocery store workers, because you guys are extremely appreciated from what I learned. But so we were doing everything we could. We lived in Highlands Ranch, which is expensive. The rent was ridiculous. We were barely getting by just on rent. And then on top of that, I couldn't build a franchise because everything was changing. So I had to start making my payments on this lease property that hadn't even had any construction on it. It was like $5,000 a month on these payments. Ridiculous. And man, guys, I was also borrowing money from family again to keep making these lease payments. Guys, I was making every wrong choice. I was just taking on debt and debt and debt and debt. Lo and behold, we got to about Christmas time. My wife and I think we were sitting on the couch watching The Office. Somebody knocked on the door. It was probably like 7 o'clock in the evening. We went to go answer that door. It was the sheriff. He was serving us a subpoena. We were getting sued by the commercial lease folks because we hadn't been making our payments because we couldn't afford $5,000 a month without a business there to support it. We did everything we could to try to negotiate with them. They said no. They said, hey, you owe us $1.2 million and you got 90 days to pay it, which was the remainder of the lease was about $1.2 million. That's why that number is there. And we just couldn't. It was crushing. The whole time I lost 15 pounds. I was pale. I was sick to my stomach. I would come home and just cry. I would come home and cry because I couldn't pay my family back. I couldn't come up with $1.2 million. No matter what I did, this business was gonna fail. Made me feel like a failure. I was identifying as a failure. I had creditors basically calling me, asking me where this money was. I had no income, so I couldn't make any payments. So, it was the worst of the worst. Also, during that whole time, we decided to take Financial Peace University because the weight of the situation was extremely motivating because we never wanted to go through that again. We never wanted our kids to deal with what we dealt with either in the future. So, we realized how much of a burden debt was. It dictates where you live. It dictates what you do for a living. It dictates what your vacations can be. It dictates your quality of life. You might have nice stuff, but the fact that you're working just to make those payments doesn't make your life nice. So I encourage you just to kind of have this mindset of, hey, we limit ourselves big time when you have debt. Another big thing that clicked for me was understanding the ownership of money. When it really clicked for me was the idea of my money is not my money. Whether I'm rich or whether I'm poor, my income is 100% God's because God is sovereign and God owns everything, including my wealth and everyone else's wealth. And this wealth is to be viewed as a tool to use for His glorification and not my own. We live in a society that is very consumer-based and very me-centered, where money is viewed as something that we use to spoil ourselves. I'm not saying that you can't have nice cars or go on nice vacations or build a dream home. I'm saying there's a sickness that can start with this idea that it's my money, I get to spend it the way I want to for myself. And, with that weight that we felt, with what felt like hopelessness that we felt, with the issue of ownership that I had to learn the hard way, I just decided, my wife and I both decided that we were not going to be debt-free. We were going to be debt-free. We were never going to go into debt again outside of a mortgage. And so not only that, we had a family member that we borrowed money from. I knew I shouldn't have done it. I knew deep down I shouldn't have done it. I still did it. And it ended up fracturing that relationship for a short time. Fortunately, God is good and has restored that relationship. But losing a relationship is not worth any weight in gold. So we were just like, we're not going to borrow money from anybody. We are not going to finance things. We're going to drive old cars for right now, because that's okay, because the point is to get us from A to B, because what it does is it provides opportunity for us to be debt free, and that's something that I think you should be pursuing. What opportunities, let me know in the comments, what opportunities do you want to be pursuing but feel like debt might be holding you down? Because I think that's important to be having at the forefront of our mind. And guys, also, just again, I just wanted to tell you thank you for stopping by and listening to my story. I like to go into it in detail in future videos, but man, if you could do me a big favor, could you hit the subscribe button? Could you hit the like button? Maybe send this to somebody that needs some encouragement. What this does is that helps me start to show up in the algorithm, helps me start to help more people, because the whole point of this channel is to spread financial peace through winning with their money, becoming financially fit. Also, my goal of this channel is to help people live a debt-free life, so that they can be able to pursue the passions that they have, and the opportunities that start to open up as they are debt-free. But anyways, guys, if you have any questions over my story, just let me know. I would love to make more videos over it and kind of answer any questions that you guys have. Again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait for the next video. I'm going to be answering a lot of your guys' questions that you have. But anyways, I thank you again so much for hanging out with me and being a part of the Debt Free Mafia. Appreciate you guys, and hope you have a blessed one. I'm rooting for you. Peace.